Welcome to Hollywood Graveyard, where we set out to remember and celebrate the lives of those who lived to entertain us by visiting their final resting places. Today we're heading back to Forest Lawn Memorial Park in the Hollywood Hills to visit such stars as Carrie Fisher, Debbie Reynolds, Bill Paxton, and many more. Join us, won't you? Earlier this year, we toured Forest Lawn Memorial Park in the Hollywood Hills. Today, we're heading back there to visit some stars that we missed the first time around, and to pay our respects to a few that we've lost since. If you haven't done so already, be sure to check out our original 3-part tour of Forest Lawn Hollywood. We'll begin our tour back at the Courts of Remembrance, east of the entrance. Heading into the first courtyard, we make our way to the Columbarium of Remembrance on the right. On the left wall, above eye level, is the niche of actress Harriet MacGibbon. She is best remembered for her role as Mrs. Drysdale in the popular 60s TV series, The Beverly Hillbillies. Across the sidewalk is the other Columbarium of Remembrance. Hold it! Look at the size of that thing. It flew right into me. Don't worry though, I didn't get stung, nor did I drop the camera, I'm proud to say. On the right wall, above eye level, is Orry-Kelly. He was one of Hollywood's legendary costume designers. Kelly was born in Australia and made his way to Hollywood in 1932. He designed costumes for some of Hollywood's most legendary films, dressing stars from Ingrid Bergman in Casablanca to Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis in Some Like It Hot. He won 3 Oscars in his career. His memoir, Women I've Undressed, was published in 2015. Let's continue into the courtyards, past the second, into the third, then turn right into the southeastmost courtyard. On the southern wall, we find the tomb of mother and daughter, Debbie Reynolds and Carrie Fisher, 2 of Hollywood's most beloved actresses, who tragically died only 1 day apart. Debbie Reynolds was crowned Miss Burbank in 1948, several movie studios immediately vying to sign the budding starlet, who showed great aptitude for song and dance. Her breakout role was in the 1952 film Singin' in the Rain.
Good morning.
Good morning. We've talked the whole night through.
Good morning. Good morning to you.
Her starring role in The Unsinkable Molly Brown garnered her an Oscar nomination, and in 1973 she lent her voice to Charlotte's Web in the role of Charlotte. Debbie was also a passionate film historian, amassing an impressive collection of movie memorabilia over the years. She was married to singer Eddie Fisher. Their daughter was actress Carrie Fisher, entombed here with her mother. Carrie Fisher, she was our princess, loved by millions the world over for her role as Leia in the Star Wars series of films.
Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper? Well, I guess you don't know everything about women yet. I love you.
I know.
She was no damsel in distress or a shrinking violet. Her Princess Leia was strong, feisty, intelligent, and stood her own with the boys. Carrie was a fighter off-screen as well as on, open about her struggles with drug addiction and bipolar disorder. In the years that followed the Star Wars films, she acted in various comedies and wrote several books, including Postcards from the Edge. In 2015, she returned to the role that made her famous, playing General Leia Organa in Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
May the Force be with you.
Later this year, audiences will get to see her play the iconic role one last time in her final film, The Last Jedi. Carrie died days after suffering a heart attack aboard a plane from London to LA. Debbie was devastated by her death, reportedly saying, "I want to be with Carrie," shortly before she died. They had a shared funeral on January 6, 2017. A humorist to the end, a portion of Carrie's cremated remains were placed in a Prozac-shaped urn before entombment. Shortly before their deaths, a documentary was produced about the duo, titled Bright Lights. Heading back into the courtyard north, let's stop off at the Columbarium of Providence to pay a quick revisit to actor Josh Ryan Evans. We visited Josh in part 1 of our tour, but his marker was missing. It has since been replaced. For a full profile of Josh, check out part 1. Continuing north in this courtyard, we reach the wall of niches on the left. Near the right side, about at eye level, is Richard Farnsworth. He started his career as a stuntman before moving into acting. He was nominated for an Oscar for his role in The Straight Story and played Sheriff Buster in Stephen King's Misery. Let's head back to the second courtyard. Turning right, we reach the columbarium of the Radiant Dawn. On the far wall, just above eye level, is Donald Mills. He was one of 4 brothers known as the Mills Brothers, originally known as the 4 Kings of Harmony. They were a jazz and pop vocal group who entertained audiences for over a half-century. Donald was the lead tenor. They made their on-screen debut in the 1932 animated hybrid short film, I Ain't Got Nobody.
I ain't got nobody, and nobody cares for me. That's why I'm sad and lonely. Won't somebody come and take a chance with me?
Just outside the columbarium, on the right wall, is Nudie Cohn. He was a designer of Western apparel, particularly rhinestone-covered suits, known as nudie suits. He designed suits for some of the biggest stars of the late 40s through the 70s, including Roy Rogers, Hank Williams, Elvis Presley, Gene Autry, and more. He's entombed with his wife, Bobby, the original rhinestone cowgirl. Let's head to the courtyard straight south. On the left wall, just past the stairs, we find another of the Mills brothers, Harry Mills. Harry was the baritone of the Mills brothers, who sold over 50 million albums in their career. They were inducted into the Vocal Group Hall of Fame in 1998, and were influential on many artists, including Dean Martin.
You know what? I'm through with all of them, and I'll never fall again. Say, boy, what you gonna do? I'm gonna buy a paper doll that I can call my own, that all the other fellows cannot steal.
That'll do it for the Courts of Remembrance. Let's make our way over to the Courts of Liberty in the southern portion of the cemetery. Heading past the Washington Monument toward the mural, up several tiers on the left is the unmarked grave of actor Bill Paxton, who appeared in some of the greatest films of the past 3 decades. Some of his earlier roles were in films like Weird Science and Aliens. In the 90s, he had prominent roles in Tombstone, Apollo 13, and Titanic, one of the highest-grossing films of all time.
Okay, quiet. We're rolling. Seeing her coming out of the darkness like a ghost ship still gets me every time. To see the sad ruin of the great ship sitting here, where she landed at 2:30 in the morning of April 15th, 1912, after her long fall from the world above.
He died far too soon after complications from heart surgery. Let's stop off real quick and pay a revisit to comedian Steve Allen, just northwest from here. We visited him in part 2 of our tour, but as his grave is unmarked, we pointed the camera at the wrong spot. Here he is in lot 1725, north of the sidewalk. For a full profile on Steve Allen, check out part 2. For our last stop, we'll head back toward the entrance to the Sheltering Hills section. We turn left at the 4-way stop and head a short way up the hill. In on the right, at the base of a tree, is Hollywood's first Indian star, Sabu. He was born in India and became a US citizen in 1944. He was one of the most successful and respected actors of the 40s and 50s, rare in an era when most Asian characters were played by white actors. He was the first actor to play Mowgli in 1942's Jungle Book, but his best-known role is as Abu in the 1940 film The Thief of Baghdad.
What's that? Say that again.
He died suddenly of a heart attack at just 39. His daughter Jasmine, who was an animal trainer on films like The Godfather, is buried next to him. And that concludes our tour. What are some of your favorite memories of the stars we visited today? Share them in the comments below, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more famous grave tours. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. You remember these guys? Yep, they're still here, up to their old shenanigans, eating everyone's flowers.